Hello, hello, Rockstars. How's everyone going? So today we got the JST match, JST versus 1021 Blackpink. Now our match is in 2 hours and 15 minutes. That's my match, I guess. So that's going to be the VC56 versus 59, well, 596Q Honey of B. So we are looking forward to that match. It looks like it's going to be an interesting match, but then for now we are going to check out the JST match, and this is the match in question. JST Justice from 1365 versus 1021 Blackpink. Now 1021 Blackpink does have a power disadvantage in their side, and JST is obviously very famous, but then at the same time 1021 has showed recently that they're a very strong team, and we want to make sure that we cover a kingdom where I'm playing in, and at the same time if you look around the other matches in Realm of Horus, this is probably gonna be I guess a good match to watch. None of the other matches kind of feel like they're going to be close. I don't think this match will be that close either, but then at the same time we want to watch JST in action. We want to learn from their strategies and see whether we can pick up something today. Mystery, hello, hey man, how are you going? Good to have you here. So this is the match in question. I think my music volume is a little too low. Let's see if I can bring it up a bit. So we still have time, so we're just getting ready for the action. All right, music volume should be a little bit better today. Now, let's go and check what these guys have been up to so far. How does the group look like? So JST won 2 out of 2. 1021, 74 NV won 1 each. And 74 NV is probably gonna get a win here today against ELK. So who progresses along with JST obviously kind of depends on 1021 over here. If 1021 loses by a small margin, maybe they have a chance. I'm not too sure about the point situation. Okay, well, there we go. If you click on that little net point thing, then it tells you the point situation. So what does it look like? Blackpink is not looking that great at the moment. So Blackpink has to play really good for them to have a chance to progress, because 74 NV, as much as they have a negative net score, they're more likely to not only overcome that negative, but probably add quite a bit in terms of their point difference versus ELK. ELK is probably a weaker team out of the 4 teams here, so 74 NV should get a big lead there. Now what we want to make sure is learn about JST, but at the same time we're going to keep an eye on 1021's strategy as well and see whether they're playing to actually progress, because they can lose, but they can't lose by a lot if they want to have any hope of progressing. Now obviously we're going to jump into this match at first. We're probably going to watch it at least for the first 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, if it feels like if it's not a competitive match at all, then we can kind of look around and watch some of the other matches. I'm not too sure though whether there's any other matches that's kind of worth watching. So if you guys think if there's any other matches that you want us to keep an eye on, then we can do that as well. Feel free to let us know in chat. Now I think in terms of the first match, Solar Family has played somewhat average, not necessarily that great. NanV has been playing great. I don't think 93L has it, so I'm not too sure whether it's going to be that competitive. 74 NV, this is going to be a pretty boring match. They should win by a big margin. 1V should win by a big margin as well, as much as 1412A is a strong team. 1V is like a different story, right? So there we go. This actually could be interesting. If anything, this is the match probably where we're gonna drop down from time to time to keep an eye out to see what's happening. A part of me was thinking we can today maybe try watching some of the other matches, but then I couldn't kind of decide on any other matches that's gonna be good. I think this is the only one that I was thinking that's worth watching. 1671 versus 1008 or boob lifestyle. So that's probably going to be quite interesting. Now, once upon a time, this would have been a good match, Raze versus Watch It Burn, but not this season. T2A is a strong team, but I don't know much about PK26 to say whether they are strong or not. But that's at 15 anyways. Okay, so 15 UTC we can't because we got our match. Cornelia Kaiser, hey man, how are you going? So in terms of the other realms, I'm not too sure. There isn't any other matches that kind of stand out that you want to watch. And then Sobek is completely new. Don't really know much about the teams in Sobek. I think there was one team that I thought was good, and they're not even playing anymore. Oh no, they are. Okay. So Sobek, my idea is so little that I'm not really looking at Sobek. That's the newer kingdoms fighting with KvK 1 commanders. We rather focus more on Horus. Maybe it's worthwhile checking Anubis and Bastards from time to time as well, but mainly Horus. Okay, now, given that we still got some time, let's go through and check how the other groups kind of look like. Today is the last match of the group stage, so let's see how it kind of looks. Now there's a bug. How come VC got 3 points? No one should have 3 points. Hey, hey, are you predicting the scores already, Lilith? Come on, no match fixing. Maybe I need to go out and log back in. Maybe that'll fix it. Schedule. Yes, back to normal. Okay, now it shows that everyone has 2 points. Okay. So Blackjack from here should definitely qualify. Now, who goes with Blackjack? It's going to be Liv or TR. Well, they're going to fight it out at 15 UTC. That's going to be an amazing match. I got my own match at the same time through VC, so we can't really stream the 15 UTC. Cornelia, are you playing much in RoK? Paying much in RoK? I got 2 accounts. One of them is very low spending, so I don't spend much. The other one is a spender account, the account that I'm streaming through now. Yes, in that account, I do spend a little bit. Now, let's see what's happening on the second group, Group B. So you got Song definitely qualifying. Well, they qualified already. And then you got INL, INSL, and SS34. So between the two teams, one of them is probably going to qualify. And you know what? Guess what? They're going to fight it out. So that's actually a match at 13 UTC. That's definitely, worth keeping an eye out on. But then we want to support JST, so we're going to check the JST match. And then halfway through, maybe we can switch to the SS34 and INSL match, because it's like a qualifier who gets through. Now over here, OV has qualified, obviously. Now 596Q has won against Home, and Home had their KvK the day they were fighting 596Q, so they kind of didn't put up a good fight, so it was an easy win for Honey of B. Now we face Honey of B later on at 15 UTC as VC56, and well, whoever wins qualifies. So we do hope that we win that, or we should win against Home, obviously. And now the next group, Group D, this is what we are checking. So JST 1021. If 1021 wins, Blackpink wins, then they qualify. And if 74NV wins, then 74NV is going to win for sure. But Blackpink can technically qualify even after losing, if they lose by a small margin, and 74NV doesn't win by a big margin, I guess. Moving on to Group E. How many accounts do I have? I only got 2 accounts, man. One in 1365 and one in 1556. So in Group E, we got 44S, SK57, the 2 lower ones. Peak is at top, qualified already, and DVL probably should qualify out of this. Actually, DVL may not qualify out of this because DVL still, the Devils still has to play against Peak. So they're probably not going to win that. But we'll see. Well, that's at 15 UTC again, so that's going to be interesting to watch as well. Now, Group F, very interesting. All the teams kind of look, similar in power, with 93T already qualifying. All the matches has been quite close. 93T should technically win against SW based on their recent performance, and that probably allows 500F to go through. C9N hasn't won any. C9N used to be a very good team, but so anything can still happen. So the Group F is group of the death, I guess, if you kind of like. 1v NV in same group. I don't know what Lilith's doing here. I feel bad for 93L and for 12A. Like, seriously, you gotta put NV and 1v in one group. Seriously, Lilith? Seriously? I mean, yeah. Anyways, and then you got the last group where I do not know a single team, but it looks like 84 OF is qualified, has qualified already, and it does look like ST46 is gonna be the second team that's gonna qualify. That's how it looks. All right, we got 3 minutes left before we have to start clicking on the match. And this is probably a good time to mention. So guys, next Osiris League cast, the next 13 UTC cast that we do next week, we are going to, next week is here, sorry. The next week when we do the next Osiris League cast, we are going to have a co-cast situation going on. So you're going to have myself and you're going to have Beast Slef co-casting together. He's going to be streaming on his channel. I'm going to be streaming on my channel, but we're going to be on voice together so we can kind of give you, I guess, opinions from, two different players and maybe try to cover more area on the screen as well. So we got a minute and a half left, and let's see on chat what questions we have. Cornelia, I have a question. Hey man, type away the question. As long as we're not focusing too much on the map, we can obviously reply. Just checking something on Discord. All good. All right, we got less than a minute now. Have you guys put in your bets and everything already? Who did you bet on today? Who felt like a good bet? I even forgot what I bet on today. So Friday late night, last second, I remembered, oh shit, I gotta put a bet. And then I put it on something. I don't even remember what we put the bet on. That would be a good thing to remember, I guess. 20 seconds, can we go and check? I think we can quickly. Who did we bet on? We bet on 1021. Not pink though, we bet on 1021 Blackjack. So Blackjack is a strong team. Blackjack is the main team. Black Pink is probably the second team out of 1021. So yeah. Now, has the match started already? Some of them has. What about the JST one? How come only one of them started, not the other ones? Come on, Lilith, don't glitch. Let us get in. No. We can't. What is happening? They're starting one match at a time. The 44S match has started, but the JST match hasn't started. Oh, there we go. We can get in now. And we are in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got Osiris League Season 6 Group Stages Round 3. And on the left-hand side in blue, you got JST 1365 with 4.1 billion power. And there you go, all the famous names that we see from 1365 all the time. On the right-hand side in red, we got 1021. Well, their alliance name is 1021 as well. They are called Black Pink. And The match is gonna start in the next 2 minutes. You got Star and Mango, two of our mates from 1365 here. We got videos of both their account overviews if you want to check that out. And then on the right hand side we got 1021, again another Korean team, so kind of hard to pronounce the names, but then at the same time, it is what it is. We don't need to know the player names, we just want to see the action. Now with minute and a half left, let's see all the players voting in. Now JST or 1365 in general is end of their KvK, so I highly doubt there's going to be a lot of high power players. Yep, we don't see a lot of high power players. We see close to 100, but it's not like on this side we're gonna see 200 300 mil power players. So everyone around the 90 mark. There was a 77 as well, 94, so everyone close to the 100 mark. You know what that means? That means these guys, they have to be healing throughout the whole time. 108, only 2 players over 103 in total so far from JST side over 100. So there's going to be a lot of healing, lot of strategy. 4 players over 100, actually technically 5. And Zengbot, 6th player over 100, 7. All right. Out of 30, you got 7 players over 100. That's pretty funny how with players with such low powers, and I'm saying low compared to some of the other teams, can win so many matches. And it comes to their strategy, it comes to their organization, and that's what we're gonna check today. How do they do against this very strong other Korean team as well? So actually, when we're looking through the red side, there is a few players closer to the 200 power mark, but then not necessarily a lot of high power players as well. So we got Star leading, gates opened, and we got Star leading with his T1 marches. It's a full T1 march. He got KvK, and we got Birdie with KvK as well. So the 2 T1 marches going to capture the buildings. Now let's see what they do. Are they going for the obelisk straight, or are they clicking through things in between, the hopping thing that we love to see? Well, they're hopping through the outpost. What about the left hand side? How is Birdie going? Birdie is going through the outpost as well. So both T1 marches are hopping through the 2 outposts on either side. And then we have a player. Ooh, there's someone else with KvK. Where is another KvK going? Like, that's not a T1 capture, that's T5. T5 KvK, is that a thing? Is that what we use? And we see Ethelfred primary, obviously with full cav. Probably we got Trajan behind, and that looks like a very fast march as well. And we see all the cav marches obviously kind of, leading out. At first, you see Nevsky and XY. There is a Chandra as well. Chandra is really good in Ark because of, I guess, the bonus that... because of the bonus that Chandra gives in terms of swarming a building down. And you got Joan as well, Joan being used as primary by JST. And there you go, the garrison as well. So very much dominance in terms of cav marches. You do see some archer marches, and there's a Zenobia going as well. Zenobia is probably going to be for the closer shrine, their own shrine. And you got hard push being used by both teams. So at the start, that's pretty standard. Let's look at the obelisks. So both sides pretty much around the same time, I would say. 1 second difference here in terms of the obelisks. And wow, I think the screen may be glitching, but I don't know what happened there. I think JST just made a mistake. Do you guys think JST just made a mistake? That obelisk on the left hand side, the bottom obelisk of JST says 2 minutes. On the right hand side, the obelisk from the red side says 1 minute. So did JST get into the building late, or they got into the building and used hard push after? I think they got into the building and then used hard push, I think. Or there's like some sort of a glitch. Well, we'll see. When the buildings convert, we'll be able to see. But either way, it actually looks like 1021 has the advantage in terms of the buildings, right? Like, they're going to capture both of their obelisks a little bit faster. One of their obelisks 1 second later, but the rest of the obelisks much faster. Now, did you want to see the rallies? Yes, we do. We want to see what JST is rallying. JST is rallying The enemy obelisk still, we want to see whether they cancel. They probably will. They are rallying the outposts as well. That's just to get marches forward. And same story when it comes to the red team as well. So they are rallying their enemy obelisk both sides and a couple of the outposts, probably with a view to get marches closer to where the action is. Now the desert altar on the red side. Now JST loves to pressure this building. Well, not just JST, everyone loves to pressure that building, and we have a lot of JST marches coming over here, and we got action starting already with Body engaging, Body trying to push back some of the red marches. Now this is where red probably came a little late. Like, if you ask me, how come the blue marches are gonna get there at the same time as the red marches? Shouldn't the red marches been there already? But then either way, we got action going on. Now let's see whether red is returning the favor on this side. Red is returning the favor on this side. Does it look like red have more marches there? Potentially. Maybe it's the same numbers. I can't tell. Now let's take simplified off. Let's see whether we can survive without simplified, because then we see the full marches. Now, did I just see a obelisk rally not being cancelled? Yes, that was the case. So red didn't cancel the rally. Red let it hit all the way. Now outposts are being hit. Now JST did put a Zenobia there, so outposts, guys, serious teams take outposts seriously as well, and you got a Zenobia garrison there. Now the XY is gonna win against the Zenobia. How is that possible? That's kind of shocking, right? So what's happening here? Now Jadwiga garrison, so JST garrisoning all their outposts with proper marches, but then they still lost one. Now the red side actually let the rally run on this obelisk as well, 1021, but then that wasn't successful. Now JST has taken over one of the obelisks, so they didn't cancel that obelisk rally, I would say. And yes, I would say it's a rally which they didn't cancel because it was Attila first. Now it's Jadwiga, so at least 2 marches was there, so had to be kind of a garrison. Right now, guess what JST did? JST has taken the desert altar from the red side, and red has returned the favor as well. Red has taken over the desert altar from JST as well. But then you know what's happening? On this side, red hasn't managed to put a proper garrison in. Let's see if JST has managed to put a proper garrison in. No, JST hasn't put proper either. Now JST has. Finally, the Zenobia is there. It had a Joan earlier, but then finally it's a Zenobia. All right, well, there's a lot of buildings that's red, I would say. So this shrine is actually red as well. So 1021, you know what? It could be a surprise. I think we picked a good match because 1021 is showing early signs of, you know, being good in this match, being competitive in this match. Now, things are about to settle down. Things are about to settle down. Other than the outposts, there's weird things happening. They looks like they traded the outposts. So 2 red outposts on the blue side, 2 blue outposts on the red side. But then the main things that matters is whether JST can hold on to this blue building, this desert altar, which is meant to be red. I think they can. They have a lot of marches here. 30 seconds left. In 30 seconds, red doesn't have enough marches to take this building away from JST. So JST is going to get first occupation on that building. Now, what's happening on the desert altar from JST's side? Well, JST just took it back, I think. JST just took it back. It changed hands a few times. Now, JST has a XY in garrison, it looks like. So the Jadwiga that they may have, I saw a Jadwiga walking around still just then, so I think the Jadwiga is in, but I don't think they have managed to. Oh no, the Jadwiga isn't in. Like, we see the Jadwiga kind of walking around. They got to change garrison. Now it's a Guan. Why is the Jadwiga walking around? Now finally she's back in, and she is in garrison, and we got a Jiska coming in as well. So I think JST got that building, and the desert altar, yes, the first occupation goes to JST as well. Now, if you look at the points, guess who has the lead? It's actually 1021 leading by 500 points. But I think the first occupation for this building hasn't been calculated, so there should be another 700 points coming JST's favor in the next minute or so. Now 1021 has taken the sky altar. Lycan, hey man, how are you going? How much KvKs you play? Well, ooh, I play every KvK, man, like a lot. Anyways, focusing back on the match. So in terms of the Sky Altar, not only 1021 took it, they got a decent presence. I don't see any JST march as well. I see some coming in, but they are pretty far and they're not enough in numbers. And there is a Wu in garrison. Now, what about mid? We got 4 minutes left. Isn't this when you see JST kind of coming in? Well, this is when you should expect the teams to be coming in. Well, I say teams in plural, but I only see one team coming in here. 1021. 1021 has some presence in the middle. I do see a lot of 1021 still coming in. On the blue side, though, I do not see as many marches. Where is JST? Why is JST walking around their own building so much? So many marches around their starting obelisk, but then no one going to middle. So points at the moment, 3,900 versus 3,200. So JST have a little bit of a lead, but then it's going to be even now that things settle down. Well, it's not exactly going to be even because red is still going to have one extra building. Well, blue has that building as well. Well, it's kind of even. Now that Zenobia is probably going to survive this rally. Oh, no, not really. The XY Nevsky is going to take it down. JST has some garrison coming in, reinforcements for the garrison coming in, but I don't think they can hold it. Okay, they're gonna lose that building, so they're gonna lose the points difference they had in terms of buildings, and they're not going to the middle. JST not going to the middle at all. JST is letting the first arc pass. Now this season we haven't been watching a lot of JST matches. This may be the first time we are watching a JST match, right? Like, I'm not too sure. This could be the first time we're watching a JST match. So does JST not care about arc anymore? At least not the first arc. That's how it looks like. 2 minutes left. Not a single march. So no one is even fake contesting with a few marches. Well, there's a rally going on. The rally is probably going to cancel in the middle. But how many marches do you think you have in that rally? Well, I can't check. Was it to a building? No, it's to an outpost. So you probably have like 2 marches there. So that's definitely not enough to contest the middle. Now JST have lost the desert altar. And you got the red side pushing in farther. They're probably going to aim for the shrine now. But the shrine JST should be able to defend because they have a few marches here. Well, all the players from the middle from red is coming to the shrine as well. So maybe the shrine is going to be under pressure. What about the sky altar? Well, JST did take it back. It hasn't converted yet. Only few seconds left, but it's going to be converting pretty soon. A lot of JST marches kind of walking around here. So these marches are half dead and they're going home to refresh. So we see Zangbot going home, Holder going home to refresh, and there isn't many players standing here. Now, generally speaking, next to the sky altar, you usually have a few players from JST standing, which is not the case today. Have we caught JST on a bad day? Is this the day when 1021 is gonna make an upset and win this match? Well, it's not gonna be that big an upset because JST is still gonna go through, but then it's gonna be, you know, quite shocking to see JST lose this match. But it looks like red has more of the momentum at the moment. I mean, the point is kind of even at the same time. The point is kind of even at the same time. They're looking better in terms of the arc positioning. So you got 5 seconds till arc. Now you got something interesting happening here. You got 3 rallies, and these are probably not outpost rallies, these are city rallies, so they're kind of full. So you got quite a few rallies kind of going past at the same time. Very well coordinated from JST. Maybe they're gonna cancel the rallies. Well, one of them got cancelled. How about the other 2? How come they're not being cancelled? And why did someone join with a Jadwiga? But anyways, I think if they cancel it here, they can still challenge the Ark carriers in the middle. So is this what JST was playing for? Like a shock surprise? Maybe this is a trial thing because we qualified already. Let's see if we pretend that we're not going for the Ark, and just with a minute left or less than a minute left, we are going to launch the rallies together and we are going to cancel all those city rallies. So what JST was doing, guys, is from that obelisk, they are rallying cross country to the cities on the other obelisk, and from that obelisk to the cities on the right hand side over here, so that all the rallies kind of go through the middle. And that's where they decided, oh my god, we do have magic happening. So they cancelled all the rallies. Now all of a sudden red thought there was going to be no middle fight, and then all of a sudden you got all the rallies from JST cancelling in the middle, and they are actually contesting for the Ark. So there's a little bit of a points advantage for red at the moment. So red has one extra building, I would say, at this stage. So that's not that big. But JST, can they do something shocking with the Ark, pretending not to contest, but then they're contesting? Now, I didn't see a skill going off in the middle, guys. Did you see a skill going off? I didn't see one. Let me know in the chat, or did I miss it? Now, middle fight is somewhat contested now. There's a lot of red marches coming in. There's some blue marches coming in as well. Now, blue JST has that desert altar. So JST is like, in a way, JST doesn't have to take it back all the way. JST can actually try walking in this way, because look at how many red marches here. I mean, blue marches here. So you got so many players from blue here. They have the desert altar. Like, if they're gonna play crazy, why not be the craziest players and actually try to score it in the desert altar? Ibrahim, no skill so far. Thank you. Mohammed said no skill. All right. Yeah, I didn't see a skill either. But then you know what JST did? JST is dragging it back all the way to the other side. Now you got the Joan carrying the Ark. You got some red marches kind of trying to chase. But then there is a lot of blue marches here. So I think JST can kind of drag it for a while. Now this actually took red quite by surprise, because when they saw there was no JST marches in the middle, they actually took their marches and tried to fight for the buildings. Now what that did is left them only with a few marches, and that's those sudden city rallies allowed JST all of a sudden within 30 seconds to have a lot of marches in the middle. So this is definitely a new strategy, pretending that no, we did see the city rallies before, but then to complement the marches that are already in the middle, but pretending no, we're not going to the middle, and all of a sudden doing the city rallies. That's definitely new, at least to me. Now JST has a lot more marches. I don't know whether this was a great strategy. It did take red by surprise, but then at the same time, look at the points. So JST, whatever they were doing, they're still behind on points. They're behind by 1,000 points. That's a lot of points to be behind by in terms of the building game. Now, whether they get the Ark or not, it's not like they didn't have the marches. It's not like they had the marches committed in the middle, so they should have kept the buildings better, but definitely JST is not doing a good job in terms of keeping the buildings. Now look at the buildings over here. Shrine of Life on the top lane, it should be a blue building. It's actually red now. Blue is trying to swarm it back, and then on the left hand side, I mean the bottom lane, very similar story. Not only red has the building, red has marches between the cities and the building, so blue is gonna struggle to take that sky altar back. It's actually gonna be quite hard to get that back based on the red marches there are. So the blue side, they're gonna the level the blue marches are gonna be, by the time they get to the building, they can't keep it. But the JST is still doing that shocking thing with the Ark. It looks like the Ark has come a long way towards the blue side. It was all the way here, and now it's all the way here. But then JST is not committing a lot of marches. They got more of these rallies coming in. I think this is what JST is practicing in terms of a real match. Can we do the cross-country city rallies without actually sending anything in the middle in the beginning? Now I think it's a very risky strategy. Now that JST tried it once, I don't know whether they can try it in a main match, I mean in later on stages, because now the other teams would know that even if JST is not coming to the middle, we should probably keep our marches there. So this is one of strategies they can try. Now JST, one thing again they're doing good is with this desert altar, every time they're taking it, you can see that they're putting the Zenobia inside. Somehow they're carrying the Zenobia. As much as they're losing it, they're disrupting the red point collection by quite a bit. So in terms of the buildings, well, red still has one extra building. If you look at it, this sky altar 1021 has successfully put that Zenobia twice, and JST has struggled to keep a hold of that building, and when they lose, they have lost it for a while and they struggle to get it back. So it did take them a bit of time every time to get it back, so they're not getting enough points from that building, JST, I would say. Now red, from all over the map, they're gonna try to intercept that arc, and in the middle now JST have a lot of marches. So I'm not too sure what JST achieved with this strategy here, because I mean, it's Acro is carrying the arc now. Acro is taking the arc to that outpost. Actually, they're taking to the outpost. Well, they were trying to take it to the outpost. Well, is it safe? It's probably safe because there isn't a lot of red marches that's going towards the outpost, so maybe it's okay. Mangobot, they say they're practicing. Zangbot, hey man, good to have you here. Wanna come on voice, help us, you know, well, like you can't be on voice because your voice in that stream, I mean, you're actually in voice in the match, but I'm surprised to see you on chat whilst you're playing, man, but good to have you here. So yes, as we were kind of deciding, I'm bad in English. You're typing well enough, man. But then you know what? Next time when it's not a JST match, maybe you can come on stream, and then if you want, we can look at other matches. We can stream together. That's a good idea as well. Now let's see what's happening over here. We got JST carrying the arc to the outpost. There's a Ethelfled. There's an Ethelfled trying to get there. It's not gonna go there. Now Bardi got it. Shoo, focus on match. Yes, Mango, focus on match, man. You're not winning. You're behind by 1,300 points. By the way, guys, speaking of Mango Zangbot, we do have a video of his coming out tomorrow. So tomorrow around 5 UTC, we're gonna post a video from Zangbot's account in terms of how he fights in canyons, say how to win in canyon Zangbot style. That's gonna be the video, but let's focus on the match again. So what's happening with the arc now? JST has scored the arc. JST didn't try to dilly-dally with the arc. They scored it. They have a couple thousand point difference, roughly 1,800 points difference in terms of the building game. JST do they have all their buildings? No, JST doesn't have all their buildings. In terms of the sky altar, they got a Jadwiga in a garrison, and that looks to be good enough. They're gonna keep that building, and then on the top lane, the Shrine of Life, JST just took it back. So buildings game, I'm surprised. Like, I never see JST or 1v struggle with buildings. So whatever new thing JST is practicing now, you know, I don't know whether it's a good thing, because one thing that you expect JST or 60GT or 1v to do safely is never to lose their buildings. But JST lost that sky altar 3 times. JST lost that Shrine of Life at least twice, maybe 3 times. Now, one thing they have done well, though, JST has taken the desert altar a few times, but this sky altar, JST hasn't taken that as many times. I think JST took it only once, whereas 1021 took this sky altar 3 times. Choco, thank you for your subscription, man. So what do you guys think? I think JST is too experimental. I think JST is playing too casually. Well, experiment is good, right? Like, I mean, without experimenting. Now that you know that you qualified for the next stage, if you want to experiment, maybe this is a good time. Now, I was saying that Sky Altar hasn't been under pressure. Now we got Star rallying that Sky Altar with a Henry, and what's the secondary? Can we pick out the secondary? I couldn't, because the rally died too fast, or I kind of missed the animation. But either way, Jadwiga holds strong. I don't think a Henry can take a structure from a Jadwiga in general. On top of that, Red has a lot of marches around. So yeah, that Sky Altar, Red has been doing a good job in terms of keeping that. Henry Nebu, Mohamed Hassan, thank you, man. Henry Nebu it is. Now that Sky Altar, from JST has fallen to 1021, the red side again. Now the one thing I kind of wish in terms of the red side they were doing a little bit better is when you're sending that Cav rally, why not have a Jadwiga or something in that rally? Because you're taking the buildings. I mean, putting a Jadwiga there doesn't mean you hold it forever, but at least that means you hold that building for a little bit longer. It's still an XY, so obviously it's going to fall a little faster than if it had been a Jadwiga. And now it's not just Jadwiga only, you got Jangizga as well. So whichever cavalry garrison you have, I guess. Now what's happening, the other thing that's happening with JST is you'll notice that there's all these big names, Save, Pororo, Zangbot, all of these guys coming in, but not necessarily, you know, kind of timing it together. So usually I'm used to seeing JST coming in more together like this over here. So say for example, Pororo, his rally and his marches, all of them coming together. Is the rally gonna hit that building? Is that the building that you're trying to rally, Pororo? Yes, I think Pororo is gonna rally that building with an XY, and I saw a Jadwiga from Pororo here actually. Yes, so they got the garrison kind of ready. But then in terms of going for the building, the timing probably wasn't that great. Now, JST with 4 minutes left, let's see whether they're going to go for the middle. Yes, thank God they're not joking around anymore. We got Joker. I mean, we just talked about not joking around, and we see a Joker on the field. We see Joker, we see Star, we see Ralph. All these big names again, they are coming to the middle. Finally, we're going to see a proper mid-fight from JST. Now, this time around, we're going to see whether they can be strong and wipe the enemy off the middle like 1v does. I mean, I don't think anyone can do it as good as 1v. I don't think, I mean, as much as I love JST with all my heart, I don't think they can do it as good as JST, but we are gonna see whether they can change that around this season and actually take a victory from 1v. Now, let's talk about 1v later. Look at how many red marches are coming over here. 1021 showing up in numbers. Does JST have as many numbers coming in? Well, they probably do. All right, everyone's going to the middle. Acro there and Body coming in as well. So many players from JST this time around. This is going to be a juicy middle fight, guys. Feeling excited. Now, before the mid fight starts, let's look at the buildings again. Does everyone have their own buildings? Well, at the moment, everyone does have their own buildings, but two of the JST buildings under pressure, and just by a little bit, I think the Jadwiga is going to win that. So the Nevsky rally is going to die. All right, JST has that building. JST took over this building, and there's no one here challenging this Desert Altar anymore. Everyone is going to the middle. So does JST have any pressure on any of the other buildings? Well, one random march, two random march. Well, actually, I'm not going to say two random march, because JST not only wants to take that building, they want to put a garrison there as well. Thank you, brother from JST. Thank you, or 1021. Thank you for subscribing. Can't read your name, but I love your support. Now JST is taking that position a little bit towards the right hand side on the middle, outside the temple. It's an aggressive position, so they're kind of hugging the temple, and they are standing on the other side of the temple. and so many marches coming in, someone used mystical formation. Who used mystical formation? It was JST, and Body from JST used mystical formation and war drums. Now the red side is using only one skill. Actually, they're going for the war drums as well. All right, both sides have both skills going on. Now I think JST should engage. JST has more numbers in the middle now. Red is still kind of trying to gather. That's why JST used the skills a little bit earlier, and they are engaging now. Good call from Body, I would say, because as much as all the players hasn't gone in at that time in the middle, Blue had a little bit of a numbers advantage, so that's why they're engaging a little bit earlier. Well, it's not too early though, because you normally see teams engaging. I think we need to turn on simplified now when we're looking at such a to the death. Who used to the death? Oh my god, RoKStaR missed it. Or both sides to the death from Luca as well. I mean Body as well. So that means the first one had to be. It's not like Body can do to the death twice, so both sides using all the points they had in the bank, mystical formation and then war drums and to the death. So an equal mid fight taking place. Now to me, more so than this match, this is a good test to see how well is JST prepared for the Osiris League this season, because with all the skills going on and not fighting for the first arc, in the second arc they decided to show up with good numbers, and 1021 is a strong team. We want to see JST dominate, not only win the mid fight but to dominate, because if they dominate then we know they can go a long way this season. Now Arc has appeared and JST is still doing those rallies going through the middle, and that rally has disbanded, and all you see here is in the middle. All right, so now guys, what do you say? Do you think this is domination? I actually think this is domination. Look at how many blue marches left in the middle. There's a lot of blue marches left in the middle. There's no red marches left. Now, does that mean JST overcommitted? I don't know. Now, overcommitted is an issue if you're losing buildings at the same time, but JST hasn't lost any of their buildings. So JST, well, they can't lose buildings if they're not under pressure. So red actually went in full. Well, there's some random people swarming at Jadwiga. They're not going to get this building. There's not a lot of marches here, and the Shrine of Life is not under pressure. Choco, great commentary. Thank you, man. Thank you for your support and your subscription. Now, I'm gonna say that JST didn't overcommit for the middle, because the second arc and the third arc, I think you should go all in even if you're losing a building. That's how the scoring kind of works now, as in order to win you need to have the second and the third arc. So if JST is practicing having all people at the middle, then, you know, they did a good job. And I would say that's a domination. Look at how many marches walking back. And look at their health. Oh my god, it's like they didn't even lose any health. Well, some of them did, but you know what I mean. JST definitely showed up big in the middle, and they got what they were here for, I'm gonna say. Now there is a 1021 player who actually took out the arc carrier, but then we got Buddy here by himself. Buddy probably in voice said, hey everyone, F off, this arc is mine. Now Star still decided to stay and help out because, you know, there was someone here. So second arc goes to JST as well. I'm really glad that we picked this match, because if you look at the score, it's pretty close. This match wasn't supposed to be close. You know why it's close? Because JST started you know, the match with practicing things here and there, not contesting arc and all that. Now, why am I checking points? I don't need to check points. We are just checking the per minute score, which is dead even. Now Blackpink hasn't used 2 of their teleports. Why would they not use their 2 teleports? Because they're gatherers? They could be. Well, they're doing a rally. I don't know. They got 2 teleports. They probably should be using it. Now, let's focus on the building game. What's happening over here? Now, JST definitely needs to consider their strategy in terms of how they're maintaining their Sky Altar, because that Sky Altar, again, 4th time, 5th time, has fallen. And look at how many red marches there. if JST wants to win, if they want to win not this match but the Ark of Osiris League altogether, they gotta better manage that Sky Altar. And there you go, Wu again. Now I have been watching a few different matches and casting with you guys as well. Is Wu still a thing? Because I often see teams using Wu still. Is that, like, lack of my knowledge? Help me out in chat if you know the answer. Is that because they didn't have other garrison? Is that they're doing like a makeshift thing? Or is Wu YSS actually a thing? Because I often see Wu nowadays, which I kind of find shocking. Like, how could a Wu be better than a Zenobia? Like, if you even if with a mixed march or Theodora. Now, what's happening with the Sky Shrine of Life? Hey, what are these guys doing? Why aren't you attacking that? What are you going for? Ah, guys, we got drama with the Ark. Let's see what's happening. Oh my god, oh my god. Do we have a red guy? We have a red guy. We have a red guy carrying Ark. They're about to... 1021 is stealing the second Ark, and we were not paying attention in the middle. Oh my god, there's the XY in garrison. The XY is under pressure. Oh my god, can they pull this off? So many red marches going there. There's definitely more red marches than blue marches here. Blue has to make sure they're keeping the building. They have to put in, JST has to put in some more marches here. I don't see enough marches coming in from JST. That is definitely an issue. We got Buddy, we got Holder coming in, but then look at how many red marches there. 1021 has got the outpost now. Now JST, Holder, is he the guy with the Ark? Holder is with the Ark. Yes, Holder is with the Ark. And KvK was moonwalking for a little bit. No, JST Holder wasn't the guy with the Ark. This one was with the Ark. Now the Guan died, and so many people from the red team trying to pick up Ark at the same time. Maybe on voice they could have coordinated which one of them is gonna pick up the Ark, and the others should have been fighting rather than everyone kind of standing there trying to pick up the Ark. Now the XY has picked up the Ark, but then JST has taken over the outpost again. But with an XY, I saw a Zenobia coming. The Zenobia is standing there. Lock, walk in, come in, get in the building. The outpost is red again. Oh my god, this is so intense. Like, seriously, why does JST have to go for the outpost? Why can't you take the Ark to the obelisk like other teams, other normal teams? Why do you have to do everything differently? Now we got a Nevsky in garrison, and what's happening with the Zenobia? Zenobia is probably a full march. Maybe Zenobia can't get in while the Nevsky is in there. Maybe they're allowing the Nevsky to lower health a little bit and then go in. But then I think the matter is under control a little bit now, because finally you got enough marches coming in. Stars to the rescue as well, along with all these other brothers coming in. And we got Strike as well coming in, Hippo coming in. All right. Now, I think this is in good hands now. I don't think Red can take it now. But this is what I said before as well. And look at where we are. So I kind of don't feel like looking away from this at all. Now, on the minimap, we can still keep an eye on the buildings. As usual, JST doesn't have their own, what's it called again? Sky Altar, is it? It is Sky Altar, right? Yep, Sky Altar. Like, we're gonna stop calling it the JST Sky Altar. So we should probably name it the 1021 Sky Altar, because you know what? 1021 had that Sky Altar for much longer. Now that Zenobia finally got in, and then they scored the Ark. Did they score the Ark? Where is the Ark? Did you score the Ark? Yes, they scored the Ark. All right, we got 8 minutes left for the next Ark to spawn, which means they did score the Ark, and I looked away for a little bit, but then either way, you know, the action is sorted now. We got Zenobia, you know, I don't know why we're still looking at it. Let's stop looking at it. That building is not important anymore. The important part is this red Sky Altar, which the game should name after Wuzitan now, because Wu is holding strong in that building since the start of the match, and Zangbot is kind of swarming, not effectively. You know why? Because he's spending time on the chat. Like, if you're on chat, how are you gonna focus on the match, right? So either way, they're swarming it down, but I'm sure JST will lose that again based on, recent trends. Now again, this is where JST has been doing a great job. Every single time they take the enemy desert altar, either you got a Zenobia or a Jadwiga since the beginning. And then we got a Jadwiga again. We're going to keep it. Mango bot, the Zeng bot. See what I was talking about? He's not paying attention because he's on chat, typing away, because he's not even talking on chat. So he got to type. If you're typing, how are you focusing on the match? Now, either way, JST has taken over that Sky Altar on the top right lane, and you got a Zenobia in garrison. Now, looks like JST is going through these phases where they kind of, yeah, let's have a little fun, ha ha ha, and then all of a sudden they become serious, and that's when you see things like this with a Zenobia garrisoned in the top buildings. This, like, all jokes aside, JST is definitely experimenting in this match, and that's what we kind of noticed. Firstly, with the first arc. Secondly, with trying to go for the outpost scoring of the arcs, but then a real flaw, again, with all honesty, I'll say the Sky Altar. So whoever the designated people to keep that Sky Altar full, maybe they're not doing a good job, or actually, you know what, it may not be a JST issue, because there's a designated number of people that you normally have for the Sky Altar. It could be the case that Red is focusing with a lot more than the usual numbers, which is why JST is losing that building every now and then. Like, I wish I could go in and check how many people are in there. Maybe they're not garrisoning enough. Maybe they're not refreshing timely, whatever's happening. But now it does look like points game is back in JST's favor. Yes, the points game is back in JST's favor because of this desert altar that they're holding. And not only they're holding that desert altar, they're keeping the enemy at bay. So you have all the red marches kind of trying to come in. Now, one thing Red is doing good is, rather than one by one trying to swarm that building, they are kind of taking the position. See, all these 10-21 marches, they're not necessarily all hitting at the same time. They're kind of coming in, and then they're probably going to do a swarm after they have taken care of some of the open field marches. That's not a bad strategy. Yes, it's a bit time consuming, but then at the same time, you're making sure that you're getting the building, because if you go in one by one, your marches may die and you may not even get the building. Now, we saw a Jadwiga before. We got a Zenobia now. With the Jadwiga, guys, we saw, you know what we saw? I saw that stone coming out of the air thing. Stone raining, or whatever you want to call it, which means there was a Theodora there. Theodora, we don't see a lot anymore. I think it's to do with how her skill, even though it's a circular AoE, it's to do with you need to have more than 50% troops, and in Ark often you don't have more than 50% troop, which is why the YSS with less than 50% troops takes priority as the secondary for garrisons. Now, is it time for the third arc already? It is. With 3 minutes 40 left, you do have the red people kind of joining in the middle, but you know what Red is doing? Red is taking a position a little bit farther behind from the temple, and JST is taking that better position and just next to the temple a little bit forward. And Zangbot, what he's doing is pretty smart over here. I'm again shocked how he can, type on chat and do this as well, because look at this. He hit those marches, but he didn't engage with the big ball. He hit and walk away. So he's kind of making sure that if a lonely red march comes in, you're taking care of it, but then you're not engaging, because if you engage too far into it, then your marches are going to be dead. That's what obviously experienced players are meant to do, and they're doing it. Now, I just noticed something. My music stopped somehow. Well, too late to be worrying about music. This is too interesting, and if I cast it without music for 15 minutes, then let's not worry. For the first 45 minutes, let's not worry about the last 15 minutes as well. I swear I did turn it on. How did it turn it off by itself? Oh my god. Anyways, so in the middle, JST coming in big numbers now again. Is it big numbers? It is decent numbers, at least. Probably not as many as they came in with. No, they are. But then the timing is off, guys. I'm definitely going to say timing is off, because with 2 minutes left, if Red was a little bit more organized, Red would have engaged already. Technically speaking, Red should engage now, because I have a feeling meaning that red has more marches in the middle already. So look at that little ball here and look at this ball here. Now they are kind of stacked up on top of each other, but then definitely red has more here at the moment. Well, red has more coming in. Red has quite a lot more coming in. Now, again, expectations are much higher on JST with minute and a half left. This is late. So whoever's coming in now, you're coming in late. You should have been there already, not when it's 1 minute 30 left. Because if you're facing 1v by now, this ball is a lot bigger. And even with a ball that big, 1v is probably going to take care of what JST has here. So that timing, JST definitely needs to work on. Now, is this a biased commentary? Definitely it's a biased commentary. What do you expect? I play in 1365. You think I'm going to be fair? No effing way. This is a biased commentary and this is how it's always going to be. Now, let's see what's happening with the buildings again. So buildings are quite even, I would say. Yep, there's a random outpost that red has and there's 2 random outposts that blue has. So both teams are kind of bothering with, outposts at the moment each other. And 1021 went in with mystical formation. So the 1021 is ready to engage. Now red 1021, when they're engaging, one of the things blue should be doing is they should be coming back a little bit behind, because red used the skill already. The timer on the skill is going down. Blue should be coming back a little bit because there's more blue marches coming in, and that's the advantage that you have of taking a position a little bit more forward. And that way you can engage a little bit late, and that way the red team, rather than engaging all of them together, because blue switched position and walked back a little bit, the engagement is not going to be as good as it would have been. Now 1021 going for Heaven's Grace and JST going for Heaven's Grace as well. All right, so we got exactly the same skills used for the second time, Heaven's Grace and Mystical Formation. So both teams using the same skills, same number of points. Let's see who dominates the middle fight this time around. Now JST was dominating big time in the first in terms of the second arc that was contested like this, but this time around, is it gonna be domination again? It doesn't. Well, I see some sad faces going on home from both sides, so it doesn't look as dominating. There's a Saladin Mulan, which is kind of random for the middle fight. I mean, especially the Saladin, probably not the Mulan. We don't see that anymore nowadays, do we? Other than that, you kind of see all the faces that you expect to see, right? You got Boudica, you got Nebu. These are the 2 archer faces that you want to see. You got Joan, XY, and Nevsky. Again, these are the faces that you want to see. Now, what JST has done in this big brawl is they have managed to grab the arc and they have pulled it a little bit to their side. Not by a lot, but they have pulled it a little bit. And slowly, we are seeing more dominance from JST in the middle again, because a lot of red marches going home and the blue marches are dominating the middle now. So safe to say that JST got this arc as well. You know what? We shouldn't say safe to say, because we know what happened last time. All the JST players, look at that. A lot of them deciding not to, I guess, escort the arc. They're going to the right and to the left to take their buildings back. Well, you haven't lost buildings. What are you taking back? And actually, they lost a building. Guess which one? They lost the Sky Altar again. JST lost that Sky Altar again, but this time around they got a 1 garrison, 1021, rather than actually having the Wu that they were having all along. So that's the only building that they lost. I mean, they did lose 2 outposts, but they gained 3 outposts at the cost of it. If you look at the minimap, so there's 3 outposts that are blue, but on the red side, and on the blue side there are 2 outposts. Now JST started the match with garrisoning the outposts with proper garrisons. I don't know whether they stopped doing it. Now this time around, Star is not trusting Buddy with the arc alone. Star is actually staying back, saying, you know what, I saw what you did last time, mate. You almost made a massive disaster with the arc, so I'm gonna stay around it. I'm gonna make sure that you don't, mess it up this time. Obviously it's not Buddy's fault, but then you know what I mean. Now Buddy is working with a very low very low Boudica. Well, he got few other marches there. They're taking away the half. Ooh, all right. So Buddy decided not to carry the arc anymore. Let Sky have a go. I mean, sorry, Star have a go with the cow. But is Boudica is going home, and Star is gonna take it there. It doesn't look like there's any red marches here. We can't have that same disaster again, hopefully. I mean, in the end, it wasn't a disaster. Hard push. All right, 1021 using hard push, which is a good call, because now there's not going to be any more arcs. All you need to focus on is the middle. I mean, technically, there could be another arc spawning, but then that doesn't mean that you get to score it. And 1365 using hard push as well. We didn't see any gathering skill pop up, so we didn't see insatiable desire. So I don't think either side is focusing too much on gathering. We didn't get a chance to check that out. We probably will. Captain Jack, it's difficult to match Korean kingdoms. Yep, I would say so. They are very serious about their gaming from the looks of, I mean, 1v JST and even 1021 here. All of them are playing amazing. I wish, I was gonna say I wish I could play with them. Technically I am not in ARC but in KvK in my 1365 account, so that's a good experience. But anyways, back to the ARC match. So the Nevsky and was it John? Is it John? Yeah, I think it's John. Yes. So the Nevsky and John is putting the Jadwiga under pressure. There's a lot of red marches swarming. There isn't enough blue marches. So, you know what? Just looking at the numbers, as much as I was saying JST is probably not dedicating enough marches to the Sky Altar, I'm probably going to say that the red team is dedicating a lot more than the usual numbers that we see dedicated towards the enemy's Sky Altar. And you know what that could be because of? That's maybe because JST is not pressuring that Shrine of Life enough. So everything red dedicated on this lane is always up in the face over here. Blue team was Nevsky, YSG, alright. Yeah, that's kind of random as well, right? I was probably looking at this zone because I was looking for the spears coming on the building up. I was probably looking at this zone, but either way, oh, there was a Minamoto, so that zone is actually carrying a Minamoto. All right, we are definitely seeing quite a few random marches now. 1021 isn't exactly a new KD, so I don't know why. They're using some random march. I mean, Minamoto is not that bad because he does have that skill, Warlords, where you can do more damage. But anyways, looking at the points, look at the points per minute. Red has a lot more. So JST, when they decide to go for the arc, they're doing a good job, but definitely not doing a good job at the bottom lane in terms of keeping buildings. Shrine of Life lost as well. There's a Saladin in garrison. Now, I don't know, based on how the scoring is, I don't know whether 1021 is going to go through. As close as the match was, there's still a decent amount of points difference at the moment. So they had plus 14,000 at the start. Now there is 7. So they're going to have plus 7,000. So it's not like 1021 is out already, but I feel like 1021, if they want to progress, they need to lower the point difference a little bit more, make the points difference a little bit less, and then at the same time kind of hope that in the other match 74 NV is not winning by a big margin. Now Red's definitely doing a good job. Now we just saw the example of a really good job because now they took the Desert Altar from JST and they have managed to put a Zenobia there. So definitely doing a good job. So there's no arc. JST is not pressuring the enemy buildings. So why is JST struggling? See, none of the enemy buildings at the moment is being pressured by JST. So I understand that, Red's trying to push because they need to. But then, What happened to JST? Where are their marches? Are they pushing up? Well, we see some marches here. They're kind of trying to push up. They're trying to push up to the desert altar. I'm sure there's going to be a rally coming in any time now. But then it felt like throughout the match, it kind of felt like more buildings from JST has been under pressure throughout. Java, what time is 1v versus 12-14 match? It's live now, man. It's going on now. All right. Now, in terms of this match, guys, I think like there's no point going around now. We're gonna check the scores a little bit later. 4 minutes later, the match is over. We were kind of thinking that halfway through the match, maybe if it gets boring, we'll kind of aim to watch other matches. But based on how well 1021 played and how many experiments JST wanted to do in the same match, it was probably worthwhile us sticking to this match. And I kind of feel bad for 1021. They played so good. They definitely deserved to progress. But we'll see. So points difference now, 6,000 only. And I'm saying 6,000 only, not in light of this match, in light of 1021, whether they can progress or not. Well, this is their second team. I'm sure their other team is will do even better at 15 UTC. Wow. So 1021 actually took that garrison skill. What's that skill called again? Something stand. Something stand. This is how rare that skill nowadays is. The skill where you put it on a building and then the defense of the building goes up a little bit. Something stand, I forgot the name of it. So they actually took it. So 1021 took that skill, which means they didn't take insatiable desires. I mean, if they took it, they would have used it already. So basically, there's not going to be any gathering from either side, at least valiant stand. Choco, thank you, man. Yeah, valiant stand. I remember stand. I forgot the first bit. Okay, so yeah, in terms of buildings, something funny went in this lane, bottom lane. So the red team or JST, I don't know who kind of miscalculated, but either way, JST had the desert altar for a lot longer than they should, and the sky altar on the lane 1021 had for a lot longer than they should. So I don't know who committed less or more where, but this was kind of awkward. But in general, JST's building defense has been less than remarkable, because look at this, the Shrine of War is about to fall as well. Usually you expect JST to have a few marches here, right? Just a couple of extra marches so that a single rally can't take it down. Now this, I was gonna say, why don't you go in, but there's no point going in because that's a farming march. So that fell already. It doesn't change the outcome of this match at all, but then at the same time, yeah, even with the outpost, so JST had the outpost garrisoned by proper garrison commanders at the beginning, but I kind of feel like they didn't do it for the rest of the match as much as they should have, because these two, well, at least two outposts has always been red. Now, in JST's favor, they did take the enemy outpost, but that's not an excuse for losing yours, right? You're meant to keep yours, and at the same time, try to take enemies. So, yeah. Now, as much as I want JST to win everything, I think I got to be cautious with my JST bets, because JST didn't look overwhelmingly strong. Second team of 1021, regardless of the experiments, have taken JST buildings a lot more than you would want or expect them to, right? Anyways, for the last 40 minutes, I don't know what we're checking. There's going to be a few rallies going on here and there. Now, buildings changing hands doesn't really, make that much of a difference. Ooh, 30 seconds, guys. 30 seconds. We're not paying attention to the arc. You know what we have? We have 20 seconds left. In 20 seconds, can that cow make it to the outposts? 13 seconds. I don't think he can. I don't think he can. And he realizes that as well. That's why he's crying. Few more seconds and he would have done it. Maybe if they had had that skill. What's it called again? Swift stride? Is that the one that gives you much speed? If they had it, they could have done it. But either way, well, the match comes to an end. I don't know why it says defeat. Am I watching as the red side? Is that what you picked up from the commentary, Lilith? I was rooting for 10-21. In a way, I was a little bit. I want them to progress. But either way, JST has won the match. And let's see the score. So JST got all the arcs. There's a 7,000 difference roughly overall. JST got all the arcs, occupation score. There you go. JST's building game has been pretty poor. 4,000 less than Blackpink. That's pretty bad. Provision, gathering, pretty much the same. A little bit more on JST. Total kills, JST has better marches, I guess. Severely wounded, yep. Total healing. This is what we were talking about at the start. This is what we were talking about at the start, right? As in JST has to heal a lot because none of them, it's like none of them has troops. Everyone under 100 mil power pretty much. So they had to heal a lot and they did. So, you know, there you go. That's the match. Now let's quit the match and let's see whether we can check the scores of the other matches before we, you know, sign off. Quite low provisions for both. Choco, yeah, man. I don't think nowadays anyone focuses too much on provision. Okay, so 44S complete walk over SK57. Then we obviously massive walkover against 93L. 74 NV, man, this is such a big points difference. So as well as 1021 played over here, they don't qualify. It's actually going to be 74 NV who qualifies for the next round. 1V, you know what? 412A did actually play decently. I mean, I based on that score, I'm probably going to say 1V took all the arcs. But then at the same time, 1412A didn't play bad. This was pretty close, and Samsung won. That was a very close match. Choco, it got nerfed pretty hard. Yeah, man. Provisioning, I guess nowadays doesn't make as much sense. Yeah, based on the nerf. Now, what's happening over here? The scores are not upgrading. You know what? In terms of these other realms, for today, there was nothing else that I wanted to kind of focus on too much. This was the main one that we did want to focus on, Horus, and we wanted to see how, I guess, 1V and JST kind of play. So we did cast some of the 1V matches earlier. I think JST is the one that I missed. But then we kind of did it today. And JST, to be honest, despite few experiments going on, they didn't look as 1V level as we want them to look, right? Obviously very strong, but they're not like 1V level, maybe like NV level, which is obviously not that great. But anyways, thank you guys, thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed the match. It was an interesting match. And in terms of next week's arc, we are looking at bringing in someone else to co-cast with us. So when I say someone else, I mean Beast Slef. So he was streaming the 38 RR38 match today, and we had a chat. We were playing in the same KvK, and we thought, how about he streams on his channel, I stream on mine, but then at the same time we stay on voice with each other to kind of provide a variety in terms of our casting of matches. So not necessarily we are gonna do it that way from now on. I just thought it'll be good to have a little bit of variety. So hopefully you guys come and watch the match again next arc Sunday as well, and you're gonna have that variety. Now I'm gonna call it a day here, and thank you everyone for being here, and thank you for all the support. Everyone have a good night. I'm gonna get ready for my VC 56 match now. All right, bye for now.